video is going to be a hot one. I'm telling you, you want to take notes. Please make sure to have something to write with, because I'm going to be going through several points that I think is going to help you to become a much more profitable trader starting this week. Except for the fact that I got to hurt your feelings first, because I got to tell you the hard truth, which a lot of traders don't want to do, but I have to do it. So, have you been going through a time period where you feel like the markets have just been taking complete advantage of you? You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of like when you take a trade, it's kind of like it just seems like the market knows you personally, and the market begins to attack you and use you. Well, truth of the matter is, sometimes that's the truth. Other times it actually is not. So we're going to go through some points today in today's lecture to make sure that you understand these things. If you can learn these nuggets of truth, you'll become a much more profitable trader. Are you hearing what I'm saying? What's up, Mr. Derek? And welcome to everybody else. I know thousands will be watching this later on, so welcome to every one of you around the globe. Let's get started. I want you to please make sure to have something to write with. I guarantee the things that I'm going to share with you today, you're not going to hear it anywhere else, because a lot of people, they just want your money, but they won't tell you the truth. Here's number one. Number one, again, this is going to be a hard truth, but you need to hear it. Stop expecting the markets to be your financial savior. Build slow and consistent. Now, I know that you've heard that before. Hey, what's up, Rod? I know that you heard this before, but let me go a little bit deeper with it. Let me kind of give you my example of what I actually did. But before I do that, let me explain what I mean. A lot of traders around the globe are looking for the Forex market or the stock market or the options market, whatever you're trading, the crypto market. They're looking for it to actually save them from their current financial situation. And when you have that mindset, you're already putting yourself at a disadvantage. Well, you say, isn't that what it's supposed to do? You living by the lake and all these different things. Yes, and the lake is right there and everything else. Yes, it can. But the problem is, when you're looking at it to be your financial savior, the problem is you're not having patience to build the account over time. What I mean by that is, I have a lot of people who hit me up saying, hey, I'm in a financial situation. I need to pay my rent by next month. I need to pay my bills. My lights are going out by tomorrow and this and that. Can you help me trade to make some money? And that's not how the market works. The market is a financial institution that if you do it right, it can build your account over time, and then you walk into financial freedom over time. It is not an overnight make you a millionaire by tomorrow situation. Now, I know a lot of people will promise you the stars and the moon, but you need to hear the truth. And if you never want to hear another video from me, I completely understand. Go to somebody who wants to tell you a lie, okay? Because there are plenty of people out there willing to scam you and tell you you can be a millionaire by tomorrow. But the wise traders know that the best way to become wealthy from the markets is to do it with consistency and over time. Now, how much time? That varies. I'll give you an example. I'm testing out a strategy right now that I'm working on. I put in $400 last week. I ended the week with over $600, right? So that means I made 50% profit in a week using this strategy, okay? And I'll be talking to my students about it in class, which we kind of covered it, but I'll go a little bit more in detail this week during class on that strategy if you're one of my simplicity students. But the point is, I made 50% profit, but I didn't do it with a whole bunch of big lot sizes and this and that. I've just made consistent trades throughout the week, and I was able to make 50% profit. Okay, my target was 20%, but the market was very gracious to me, so I made 50% profit using the strategy. You understand what I'm saying? But what did I start with? A $400 account. Could I have started with a $1,000 account, $10,000, a $15,000, $25,000 account? Yes, I could have did all of that, but I didn't want to, because I want to make sure that this strategy is going to work over time. I want to make sure that it can prove that it's not a one-trick wonder. Do you understand what I'm saying? So because I know it requires patience and consistency, I'm not expecting this thing to make me a millionaire off of this strategy by next week. But some of you guys, you're in a hurry to quit your job. You're in a hurry to leave where you're working at. You're in a hurry to get out of a financial burden or whatever. And so you're coming to the markets hoping that it's going to save you. And the problem is, it's now you're coming to the markets with an inflated expectation and leave every week with disappointment. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I know you don't want to hear it, but it's the doggone truth. You come with inflated expectations and you constantly leaving with heartbreak and depression because you're constantly over leveraging on trades. You're constantly doing things, breaking rules because why? In the back of your head, you got to get out of a situation and you're coming to this market expecting it to save you. And so your mindset and the way you're approaching the market is not realistic. You're not approaching the market like a real investor would. You're approaching the market out of desperation. And nothing good comes out of desperate people most of the time. Have you ever seen a person who's in a relationship and they are thirsty and desperate? Those are the type of people who tend to get into bad relationships. Why? Not because they're not a good person, but their thirst to be in a relationship causes them to be very poor at selecting a mate. They just take anything that comes along, and as a result of that, they get more abuse than what is necessary. Are you hearing what I'm saying? The same holds true with traders who come to the market overly thirsty, desperate, trying to trade 50 trades a week, over leveraging and emptying out their account every single week. And this market is just slapping you left and right like a pimp. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Let's go to number 2. I told you this is going to be one that's going to step on your toes, but it's going to bless your soul. Because a lot of this has to do with your approach and your mindset on how you're approaching the market. Are you truly approaching the market like an investor, or are you trying to get out of a situation so you run into the markets to try to make it your savior? And if you are, that's why the market keeps taking advantage of you. Here's number 2. Stop trusting the setups in the market. It's volatile like an abusive spouse with a trigger hair temper. All right, let me say that again. When you deal with these markets, one of the worst things that most youth retail traders do, they're over leveraging on their trades because they see a setup and it's like, oh, I know this got to be the one. Why? Going back to number 1, financial savior. I need you to get me out of a situation. So this setup looks like it's going to be the magical one. And have you, and I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like every time I think this is the actual golden goose setup trade, something happens, a news event happens, and it spikes real hard, and it ends up hitting my stop loss, and that's the one that I was over leveraged on. I could have been doing very well all week long, but the moment I decided to over leverage because this particular trade looked so good, bing, stop loss hit, and now I'm pissed. But should I be pissed at the market knowing that that's one of the behavioral characteristics of the market, or should I be pissed at myself for over leveraging, trusting that setup? See, the problem is you should trust your setups to a certain percent. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is why you know in your heart that managing your money is the most lucrative way of lasting in the markets. We all know that. Money management, money management, money management. Problem is we don't abide by those rules when we see certain setups. Why? Because we're trying to be quickly into financial success. And so therefore, I see this setup. Oh, I see the M. I see the high today. I see the lower today. I see the M at the bottom. I see the W at the bottom. And that's when the bottom just drops out or the thing just shoots through the moon right when you over leveraged. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Why did you over leverage? Because you trusted the trade way too much. And we all make this mistake. I'm guilty of it too. And so because the market keeps abusing me when I go too happy on it, trusting it just like people. Let me go back and stop. Hold on. Let's slow this down. Have you ever been in a relationship where you really trusted somebody? I mean, you really trusted them and they betrayed your trust. Have you ever did that? I know it happened to me. And so what happened is it hurt me, because I trusted them way more than they actually deserved. You understand what I'm saying? And it could be a friend, it could be a family, it could be a loved one, whatever, or a significant other, whatever. But we've all in our lifetime been betrayed by somebody that we trusted, and it hurt. The problem is that you're doing the same thing every week when you're going into the markets. You're seeing these setups and you're trusting them 100% without understanding the fact that when you trade in these markets, you are trading two countries' economies every time you place a trade. For an example, if I was to place a trade on the Euro USD, you'll see that last week there was a trade set up. Well, if you traded it last week, you would have been in the trade possibly, and all of a sudden the thing just spiked out of the blue. Now, if you weren't paying attention or you were over leveraged and you were in the trade the wrong way, you could have blown your account. Are you understanding what I'm saying? See, because the market is very volatile, more than normal, in fact. So yes, a trade setup could look really good, but you still have to take into account there's a possibility that the thing could go wrong. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I heard Bishop T.D. Jakes, who I admire him for business. I know a lot of people know him as a preacher, but I really admire him as a entrepreneurial business person. And I never forget of something that he said. He said that he had been burned by so many people in business until he learned not to walk into a deal. He said, I learned to back into a deal. And what did he mean by that? He said, when people meet together and we're talking business and finna go into business and this and that, he said, what happens is everybody's happy in the beginning. But as business go along, things happen and then people get attitudes and this and that, and then you end up with lawsuits. So he said what he learned to do is he backs into the deal. In other words, while everybody's happy and want to shake hands, he said that's when he sets up everything in order on the back end. So in case things don't get going right, in case something bad happens, he had already established the rules of engagement in the beginning, not when the relationship went bad, but in the beginning. So in other words, if we have a disagreement on the contract part, we already have it in writing saying that if it comes to this, we will seek out arbitrary agreements between the third party. We will do X, Y, Z. So in other words, we're not going to make up how to fix the issue when it happens. We're going to fix it before it happens. Amen. All right. So here's what that means. When you're trading in the markets, you already predetermine how much you want to put at risk. The problem is you keep trusting those setups 100%. And because you're trusting too much on the front end, you keep getting your butt burned up on the back end. Now, the smart thing to do is to reduce your trust in the setup. Now, think about it. If you were trading with less trust in the setup, would you put so much leverage on it? Would you constantly keep over leveraging the trade, knowing full well that you're dealing with a volatile, high-tempered, spike out the blue type of personality as your business partner? Because that's what the Forex market is. That's what the stock market is. That's what the options market is. That's what the crypto market is. It is your financial business partner. The problem is that business partner have a very bad temper. Are you understanding what I'm saying? And while you're trusting and calm and trying to be peaceful 100% with you by over leveraging every trade, trusting what you see 100%, that thing keeps taking advantage of you because it can have an attitude, take all your money, and then whoop whoop, you crying, and it keeps on going without even thinking one thought about you. How do you overcome that? Stop trusting your trade setups 100%. I don't care if it's the high of the day, the low of the day, a M, a W, a Elliott wave theory. I don't care if it's a Dolcion channel. I don't care if it's hitting support, resistance. I don't give a flying crap what it's doing. It could be doing all of those put together. At the end of the day, I still don't trust you 100%. And as a result, I will vote my trust with my dollars. How do I do that? By not putting all on the line. I will manage my money just in case you act a fool. I know you can be my financial business partner, but I know you act crazy. Have you ever been in love with somebody who's crazy? Huh? Let me give you an example. There's a term that I absolutely abhor, and I thank God that I'm married to Nancy because she doesn't believe in this either. And that's that statement, if happy wife, happy life. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. What that means is that everybody in their whole house is subject to the emotional state of mama. And if mama is in a bad mood, then the whole house has to be in fear. Do you understand what I'm saying? No, that's off balance. That's off balance. That's off balance. And it creates chaos and fear in the home because everybody's afraid of her mood swings. Well, unfortunately, if you understand that concept, whether you agree with me or not, which our belief is everybody in house should be happy. That's fair. Why does it have to be one person has to be appeased and then everybody else can be pleased? Appease the one and then everybody else can have peace of mind. No, that doesn't make any sense to me. Unfortunately, though, in the markets, it is that way. If the market ain't happy, ain't nobody gonna be happy if you're on the wrong side of the trade. Do you get what I'm saying? So you're at the whims of the emotional state of the market. And you already know that the market has mood swings. So you got to ask yourself, why on earth are you trusting every trade 100%? By voting with your money, by over leveraging on every trade. That's the question you have to ask yourself. Why are you trusting the trade with 100% of your money, trading 50% of your account, 40% of your account, and then you get mad when that account blows up? Well, that was your fault for trusting it. Come on now, I told you this is going to be tight, but it's right. Come on, I got a couple of more and we done. Next one, number 3, spend less time to make more money. Most successful Forex traders, they spend a lot of time observing the market, waiting for a correct setup. Let me give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, I did a video for you guys and I went over it over and over again. And I told you guys, mid-week reversals. If you're going to be a reversal trader, why are you trading on Sundays? Now, I'm not saying there won't be some setups, but most of the time, that's not the best day. There's a reason why they call it what? Mid-week reversal. Now, again, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. Sometimes there are good setups at the beginning of the week. But where do I find most of mine? In the middle of the week, midweek. After the markets have all had a chance to have their turn at the weekend news and the spikes and all that stuff, and then the market settles out, hit these highs of the week, lows of the week, and then there you go. So if you're going to be a reversal trader, that might be something you want to consider. What did that mean, though? That means you're going to have to do what? Sit out of the market. You cannot be trading every single day. Because some of the setups that you are looking for won't be there and you can't force trades. And some of you guys are so addicted to trading, you just got to be in a trade. And that's the reason why you spend so much countless hours on the markets and you walk away every single week on Friday with nothing to show for it, except for emotional exhaustion. Don't that sound abusive? People who have been in abusive relationships end their weeks emotionally exhausted. What's the difference between them and you? Nothing. You're putting all this into the markets and the market ain't putting nothing into you. Are you understanding what I'm saying, loved one? You don't have to listen to Uncle P. A lot of people can't stand Uncle P. Oh, he always talking this and that. That's fine. You don't have to go ahead and listen to them gurus out there. But Uncle P care enough to tell you about the mistakes that happened, that he went through, the turmoil he went through, that nobody else in this freaking market seems to want to open their mouth about. Everybody trying to make it seem like they just slid on by into success without admitting that this is some of the stuff that they went through. But you don't see them talking about it. Only Uncle P decides to put his neck on the line and his reputation on the line to just tell you, hey, it happens to everybody. So let me just stop and say, before we get to this last one, before I go any further, let me say this too. Why am I sharing this with you? Because yes, I'm getting the house together. Matter of fact, I just hung up the TV on our outdoor patio here. I just put up the TV and stuff, you know, and yeah, I can showboat. But at the end of the day, don't you want to know what it takes? Or do you want to keep feeling like you're the only one who ever been through anything and nobody knows what you're going through? When the truth is, all of us went through almost the same exact journey. It's just that some have been able to overcome it by being consistent, settling down, less over leveraging, less trust in the markets, dibbling and dabbing, and spending less time trying to trade all the time and just being patient and waiting for the proper setups. We all go through the same channel. You're not alone. Okay? So let me get to this last one. Number 4. Don't neglect yourself or your family for a market that can care less whether you live or die today or tomorrow. I can't tell you that enough. This market don't even know your name. Your brokers. Oh, and I got to talk about your broker too. Oh, I got to get to that one. Bonus one. Bonus. Stick around. I got to talk to you about your broker. because your broker is actually punking you, being honest. But let me say this. The market does not know your name. You know the market. You say, oh, I'm going to trade the US 30. I'm going to trade the NASDAQ. I'm going to trade the Dow. I'm going to trade the S&P 500. I'm going to trade the EU. I'm going to trade the NASDAQ. I'm going to trade the GBP USD, the pound versus the dollar. I'm going to trade the AUD versus the CAD. You the one calling out their name. They ain't calling you one bit. They can care less whether you live or die. The markets have no emotions at all. Only the retail trader. Guess what? That's why a lot of these big institutions create these trading robots or these trading systems to completely remove themselves out of it. You understand? They put systems in place so that they don't even have to be involved with it. Why? They don't care. And even if they lose, it ain't really their money. They trading other people's money. So who cares? Do you understand what I'm saying? That OPM, other people's money? So they don't care. You're the only one who cares. You. So here's the deal. Make absolutely certain that you're taking good care of yourself. Emotionally, spiritually, health-wise, and stop neglecting your family over these markets. You spend more time on these charts than you do with your kids or your significant other. You on the verge of losing your job that is paying you an income over some charts that ain't doing nothing for you. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And if you don't listen to Uncle P, you could be in a detrimental situation by next week. You're going to end up losing your family. And I know people who did. They lost their family. They lost all they had because they were just trying to trade in a market that could care less about them. The market is nothing but a business. You understand what I'm saying? I don't really care one way or another. It's just business. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't have the thrill and excitement for the markets that I once had because I woke up to the fact that the markets can care less about me. It would take my money without a blink of an eye. And here I am crying over the markets. Here I am depressed over the markets. Here I am, spending 16 hours, 17, sleep 20, eat, breathe, and sleep in charts. And them charts ain't thinking one bit about me. Neglecting my significant other. I told you guys, honest to God, when I married Nancy, for the first couple of years we were married, and I thank God she didn't leave. She should have and could have. Because I was an absentee husband. I was so focused on these charts, night and day, eat, breathing, and sleeping charts and this and that. And even when we were in the movie theater on a date, I'm the only fool sitting in the back corner with my phone light on, staring at the mobile charts because I'm in a trade, nervous. And before you talk about me, I know you did the same too. You may not have been in the movie theater, but you probably was at work staring at that freaking phone, looking at them charts. When you know you're supposed to be focused on something else. We all do it. That's what I'm saying. Until I got emotionally exhausted with these freaking charts. That's why I'm always working on another strategy to find out what's the best way to help make traders profitable for my students. Whichever, and here's the deal. When I come up with different strategies, here's the reason why. You say, well, why don't you just stick with this now? But it's not just for me. Some traders, they can trade during certain market hours, some can't. So I try to come up with something to help you out. Some people like reversal trading, which is where our 415 strategy, which we teach in class all the time. We have 415 strategies and stuff like that. Some students are trend traders. That's why we have the D1s, the D15s, and this. So I'm always coming up with strategies to help not myself, but my students as well. And one of the things I'm constantly working on is to try to find out what's the best strategy so that you can spend as less time as possible on these freaking charts and still be profitable. That's why I'm working on something else, which I'm going to be talking to the students about this week. Okay, so the point is that I want to spend as least amount of time on these charts because the charts don't even think about me. So why would I be 100% dedicated to something that isn't even spending 2 seconds on me? If I died in the next 2 minutes, this freaking charts, the markets could care less. It never even knew me. So I have to show the same respect that I'm not going to live for you, charts. You're just a business partner, just like I am to you. If I lose a trade, I just provided you financial sustenance. If I win my trade, you provided me financial sustenance. That's as far as our relationship goes. It's a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. There is no love in this arena. That's just the way it is. And the sooner you get that behind your head and you stop falling in love with these charts, spending day and night upon these things. Now, let me say this. In the beginning, yes, you should spend a lot of time studying your charts and studying your craft. But over time, you should be drifting away from that. And my danger that I'm seeing is that when people get too engaged, they don't know how to start disengaging even when they become better at trading. And now you find yourself over trading. Now you find yourself over analyzing. You had something that was working that you could have just got in, got out every day. Get in, get out, get in, get out. Okay? But now you're so addicted to the markets, you don't know how to detach from it. This is one of the reasons why a lot of times I would take the MT4 off my phone when I have enough trades in. I don't even want to look at it. I don't want another alert from my scanners. I don't want to know nothing about you because I just want to move on with my day. I put enough on the trades to make sure that I can be financially profitable, but enough that if it doesn't work out, I'm still going to be okay. I understand this relationship very clearly now. And the less I put my emotions into this thing, the more profitable I become. The less I spend all day looking at these charts, trying to find trades 7 days a week, all time, just indulged into the charts. Like I ain't got nothing better to do. The less I do that, the more profitable I become. Do you understand what I'm saying? I told you this video ain't going to be for everybody, but it's going to be for somebody. And I told you hang on because I got a bonus. Here's the bonus. Write this down. I have preached this for I don't know how long. And I ain't no preacher man, but in the markets, I've been telling you guys this for God knows how long. I have told you, stop taking trades at the beginning of the Forex trading day. You know how many people around the globe, and I know thousands are going to watch this later, but I'm telling you, I have been telling people this for the longest, and people are just so stubborn. You got people who create these strategies. Oh, okay, so see, I'm going to put on the day separators by hitting Control Y, bring up the day separators, and see, this is the low of the day. So as soon as the market open on the next day on the first candle, I'm going to hop in on the first candle on the next trading day because that's going to continue from here, and then it should go up from here. You are a fool. You're a freaking fool. I'm going to call you to your face. You're a fool. Uncle P has been telling you for the long. Listen to your uncle. It's not the strategy that is killing you. It is your broker. Your own broker is punking you. Here's what I mean. At the beginning of each and every freaking trading day, including today, hopefully when I put this into the atmosphere to all the social groups my people put it into to get the views and get people to look, I hope that I reach enough people even today. Because at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, there are going to be dozens and dozens of thousands of traders around the globe who is going to take a trade at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They've been marking up their charts the whole weekend, married to the charts, and neglecting their kids, neglecting their spouse, neglecting their own life, not eating, not drinking, just dedicated 100% to the charts with this strategy they have in mind. And at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, they're going to place their trade with excitement and zeal, only to see their trade not work out. And then they're going to go back to the drawing board thinking their strategy was the issue when it had nothing to do with it at all. At 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I even did a live video about 6 months ago where I took a trade on a live account at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on I think it was a GBP pair. And that spread, and the spread for those who don't know, the spread is when you enter a trade, the house always wins. That's the best way to explain it, okay? If you ever went to the casino, you hear they say the house always wins. Why? Okay, here's what happens. When the house is always going to make sure there's enough room for it to make its profits, and then it'll possibly let others make money. Okay, so what happens is every time you enter a trade, the broker actually opens up what's called a spread, and that's why you see that on your right side of your charts, you'll typically see a red blipping line and a yellow one. Or a white one, okay? And you'll see these two and they teeter-totter between the two. Well, what's it showing is here's the price that the broker is getting you in at, but here's the real market price over here. And that gap between those two is called the broker spread. See, it's spread open. So in between there is where the broker makes their money to charge you to take you into that trade. Okay. Now, most brokers will advertise, oh, you can get, deal with us and we'll give you, hardly any spread at all. But they typically are only showing you just a few pairs, like the Euro USD, because it's one of the most highly traded pairs in the world, right? So they'll show you those that are highly traded. So, oh, we don't have anything else. Oh, we don't charge hardly nothing. But they don't tell you about all the other pairs that they know for sure that the moment you come to that door and sign up with them, you ain't gonna only be trading the Euro USD. They know that. And that's where they get you. Now you trading the GBPs and the NZDs and the other Euro pairs. And those are the ones they start slapping you upside your head with. What do I mean? So what happens is, and you can test this for yourself to see, just don't take a trade on a live account at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take it on a demo if you want to see it. But what happens is that spread that's normally about 2 pips or 3 pips, they spread it open by 10, 15, 20, 25 pips. So if you're taking a trade to scalp for 10 pips with a 10 pip stop loss, but they open the spread up by 10, 15 pips, by the time the thing, the one candle movement, just one little movement, your trade is taken out. And this happened to some of you guys before, and you're like, what the freaking heck, man? Why did I lose this trade, man? How did I lose this trade? Look at the candle patterns. It ain't even hit my stop loss. The candle didn't hit my stop loss. It wasn't the candle that hit your stop loss. It was the broker spread. And they keep it open like that for almost an entire first hour of every trading day that starts at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The candle pattern wasn't the issue. It was the broker that you're using. Well, here's the next question. Well, Uncle P, what's the best broker to use? Should I use a regulated broker or which broker? They almost all do that same foolishness one way or another. That's why I don't get into broker recommendations, because they all find their way to manipulate the market to make their money. And why do they do that? Because in the first hour of the day, and I heard this term originally when I was trading the stock market. Write this down, because I guarantee ain't nobody else. I would love to find a video where somebody else has talked about this. Guaranteed it's going to be hard to find, if any. It's called amateur hour. Amateur hour means the first hour of the trading day. Hi, baby. Oh, gosh, you fine. I love my wife. Sorry, I got distracted. The first hour of the trading day is when most retail traders rush into the market. Notice who I said in the beginning. I say, who's going to be looking to enter a trade at the beginning of the trading day? Oh, I've been marking my charts all weekend. Oh, I can't wait for the market to open. It's going to be opening in just a few hours. Oh, I can't wait. Who says that? Is it professional traders, banks and institutions, or is it you? So you can get mad at Uncle P. You can do all the reviews you want. But I'm not going to stop talking about what I'm talking about. I can tell you how many reviews about people who want to do a review on me because they didn't like what I said. Oh, his strategy. No, it wasn't the strategy. It was the time. And I told your hard head behind not to do it. But you went on with your gusty self wanting to go and do you at the wrong time. And they blew you up. Now you want to blame me as if I didn't tell you. I told you don't tamper with it, but you stubborn. And this is why I don't take on stubborn students. If you want to do you over there. Because I'm trying to tell you to leave it alone, but you won't listen. So some of you guys, you wonder why your trading account doesn't even last till Monday. This is part of the reason why. Your own broker is blowing up your account. And you're so gusty to just jump into a trade until you won't even demo test what I'm saying. So I did a live video about 6 months ago. I got hundreds of videos, but look through there. I forgot which one it was, but I took a live trade on a live account with a broker, right? And then 1 hour later, I took the same exact trade and price action barely moved because it was Sunday. Price action barely moved at all, but I took the second trade after the first hour, amateur hour, and the spread was completely normal. I think it was only 3 or 4 pips, But when I took the first trade, they charged, I think it was 20 pips to 25 pips. Boom. Your own broker is taking advantage of you. This is why this video is so critical. Many of you guys, you're feeling completely intimidated by the markets and you're being abused. And here's the reason why. Let me say this in closing. There's a scripture in the Bible, and I'm not no preacher man, but I love the truth of the Bible. The Bible says, my people are destroyed for the lack of not finances, not for the lack of connections, but for the lack of knowledge. The word knowledge means information. Because you lack the information you need, that's why you're struggling. Because nobody's telling you the truthful information you really need to hear, that's why you're having a hard time. And some people, you tell them the information they need, but they don't want to receive it. They'll rather criticize you, call you stupid, do reviews on you, and all these different things as if it's going to magically change their outcome. And it doesn't. Why? Because when knowledge is being given, they reject it. And even the scripture says, because you have rejected me, I will also reject you. What it was, God is saying, I am knowledge. I'm here to help you. But if you're going to reject me, then I'll just turn my back on and go to somebody else. See, I can't force you to receive vital information. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I can't force you to receive the information I'm teaching you. I can only put it out there to those who want it. This is why the Bible is talking about the person who sows seeds. Some fall on good ground and some don't. Now, the question is, I just gave you information. I guarantee you, ain't nobody out here talking about it. Are you good ground who's going to hear what I'm saying? Or are you the hard-headed one who's going to do what you want to do and try to prove me wrong, only keep losing every single week, even before Monday is over, and your account is empty, and you're depressed, and you're wondering why things ain't working? Well, you need to start listening to your uncle. I don't monetize this channel. I do this because I love you. Why? Because I've been through it, and nobody told me. I can't tell you the countless number of accounts that got blown up simply because I was unaware of what my own brokers were doing. And I tried various brokers, they're all doing the same thing. That's why I can't tell you, well, use this broker or this broker, don't do it, because almost all of them do the same thing. Why? It's free money to them. If you're going to be stupid and jump in at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, even though your uncle told you not to do it, then guess what? You give away your money. Go right ahead. Because they're gladly going to take amateur people's money and run right over you and keep it moving. They don't even know you. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? Now, you can consider this a blessing or a curse. You can say, I'll never listen to this dude again. Or you say, you know what? I like him and I'm going to hit the like and subscribe button. So you can catch the next video, and also YouTube will know to share it out, which, like I said, when we put this out on the atmosphere and all our different places, thousands of people be watching this video. Thank you very much for subscribing and everything else. But I'm telling you, I'm just trying to help you from things that I hit rock bottom many, many times in this market because of these things that nobody told me about. I had to learn it on my own. And this is one of the big ones. Your own broker is punking your account. So when I say you're being abused, honestly, you really are. But you don't have to. So at least, if you do nothing else, at least hold off until the first hour and observe it for a couple of days, because it happens every single trading day. See, and let me say this to you. You say 5 o'clock, what time? It's 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what time it is. I get subscribers from literally all over the globe. People who email me from all over the globe. I don't know what time it is for you. Just 5 o'clock New York time, okay? 5 o'clock New York time for that first hour from 5 to 6 o'clock. Just don't take a trade, okay? 5 to 6 o'clock. Observe it for this week, and you come back, send me an email. Let me know your thoughts on it. superezforex@gmail.com. superezforex@gmail.com. I would love to know if you see what I saw, okay? All right, you guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Let me say this in closing. I'm so proud of the Signals Group. We were 12 wins and only one loss this week, which, by the way, that one loss, we actually came back and won on that trade. That was on the Euro NZD. News came out on the GBP, and this is what I'll talk about. Don't trust the trade 100%. So the setup, it was a very, very strong support level on the Euro, and you can check your charts just to verify this, okay? You can see it yourself. So what happened was on the Euro NZD, it hit a very, very strong support, triple bottom. And then what happened is news came out on the pound that affected the euro. And so it ended up spiking through the bottom, but then we hopped back in it because I said, nope, it was just a news event. I know what I know. And that thing shot on back up. So y'all can even verify that particular trade. Even if you're not in the Signals Group, you can verify it and see for yourself that actually happened. So that was the one loss that we had, but we actually went back and won that a couple hours later. So we were actually 12 wins, one loss, and the Signals Group, I think they did over 8,000 pips in the Scalping group, which, by the way, the Signals and the Scalping group is all in one group. It's one thing, but you receive signals, plus you can attend the live Scalping group if you're interested. But either way it goes, whether people, whatever they think, we just rocking and rolling through these markets. We're breaking records that no other companies, and we do follow other companies to find out their success rates and just to see where we are. And by far, we're superior, even though we're one of the smallest companies out there, not the most well known. And there's major big companies that tout all these different things, and they have a good presentation, but when it comes to actually results, hands down, they have nothing on us. So again, if you want to run to these others, and that's fine, that's cool, but we've been doing this for a long time, and I'm very proud of my team. Miss Jenny, Mr. Elvis, Miss Donna, even my wife, she works behind the scenes doing stuff, but I'm really proud of my team. We're putting money in people's pockets, especially during this recessionary time, and I'm very proud to say we're doing that. You find another group that had 12 wins and only one loss last week. And then, in addition to the 12 wins and one loss, that's from the Signal side. Then, in the Scalping group, you add in another 8,000 pips. You show me another group that's pulling that off. You tell me. I would love to know about it. Because guess what? I work with some of the biggest traders in the world, and guess what? They're not. I don't say nothing to them. I don't try to steal clients and this and that. I'm always a student, so that's why I'm always joining others, just trying to learn. I don't steal clients. I don't believe in that. But I'm trying to further my education. But the truth of the matter is, the more higher I'm dealing with, the higher people, very few of them are even impressive to me, because when I go behind the scenes and start working with them, I'm like, y'all ain't even doing nowhere near what we doing. But I can pick up some tips here and there, and then I cut out and leave. And then I come back and try to help my students learn what I learned. But nobody did 12 and 1, as far as I know, and 8,000 pips on the side of that. So that was 12 wins, one loss on the Forex side, and then on the Scalping group side, where they mainly trade the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, and stuff like that, and the Dow. They do trade gold and other stuff, don't get me wrong, but that's primarily what they do. They scalp on those because they pay tremendous amount of pips with less effort. So that's in the signals are more for the Forex side, and then the Scalping group is more focused on that. You know what I mean? And they did over 8,000 pips plus 12 wins and one loss. You tell me somebody, show me a group that's doing both of those combined. Now, I'm not saying that some ain't doing very well on the Signal side, but tell me they can do a Scalping group with 8,000 pips and 12 and 1. Man, get out of here. We killing it. So anyway, I'm going to end this video, go back to hanging out with my wife because I wanted to take her out for lunch today. Hopefully this video was a blessing to you. If it was, please hit the like and subscribe button. By the way, last but not least, if you want to learn from Uncle P, because I've been doing my free classes for years now for no extra cost, all I ask you to do is just buy the Simplicity system, okay? Buy the system, and it's only a one-time cost. And then after that, you'll have access to our Telegram channels and to my live class, which I teach every single week. And I'll actually be, during the question and answer period, which will be through Zoom, I actually take question and answers in hand. So if you have questions, if you're a brand new trader and you want to ask questions, I actually ask you, please ask questions. One of the stupidest things a person can do is jump into a brand new arena and then feel intimidated to ask a question. Ask me questions. I want you to ask questions because there's no way you're going to learn how to get through this on your own. It's just too much. Okay. And number two, like for an example, I'm just saying this and I'm done. I love my classes so much. Do y'all know as many years as I've been trading, for whatever reason in my head, and I built the Sexy Analyst. in my head, the supply and demand zones, I've always got them backwards. Even though I built it into the sexy analyst, I know what they represent. They just, support levels and, resistance levels, or in other words, sell areas and buyers. I know that. But I always had it twisted in my head. But I was teaching class to our students, and one of the students, and I was going over the supply and demand zones, one of the strategies we use called the Three Amigos strategies with the sexy analyst, and I was going over that, and I was talking about it, and I said, I always get them backwards, but here's, the setup is still the setup. I can really care less. It doesn't impact my trade. It's just a name thing, right? So one of the students said, no, so here, and they said, here's what it actually is. I said, oh my God, ain't that cool? After all this time, I've been getting it backwards. Now I understand. What happened? The class. See, we grow together as a team, as a group, as a family. Do you understand what I'm saying? This ain't no solo thing. That's the reason why you're having so much struggle, because you're trying to do everything on your own. So if you want to be a part of a community and to attend our live classes, and you can hear other students, and you can ask me questions, and maybe I can learn something from you. I'm not beyond being a student. I can always learn from my students. They got some brilliant people. I found out I had an NBA player in our group. I ain't gonna say his name, but yeah, we have popular people in our group. I didn't know. You understand? I can always learn from somebody. So if you want to be that part of the group, go ahead and join this bias simplicity system. And I'll see you on Tuesday. All right, I'm out. Peace and grease. Thanks for joining, y'all.